All right, people. All right. إن الحمد لله وكفاه والصلاة والسلام على رسوله المصطفى وعلى عباده الذين ارتضى ومن بهداهم اهتدى وبآثار أهل المدينة اقتفى وبعد فالسلام الله على القوم أهلا وسهلا بكم ومرحبا Juan Ying Lights bienvenidos a todos people بخير راغلي خشامديد. And of course, as well, because we're going to discuss a little later on our Qadian brethren from Punjab. So, Kiddan wa Sasriyakal. And to all of you, Swagatam, Swagatam, people. All right. What is going on, people? What is going on? So, all right, people. Ahlan wa sahlan bikum. Right, what, mi gente? ¿Qué está pasando, people? Orale, what is going on? What is going on? I'm going to be taking some of your questions. All right, hey, Mufti, I hope you're okay. I'm good, lillahi alhamd. Likewise, I hope the same for all of you. Mwah. Keep smiling, people. I know it's a bit of a hectic time. Can I give Swansea a shout out? Swansea? That's in Wales, I take it. I don't know my geography if it's all over the place right now. You're doing it. Right. Right. All right. So, what's going on? What's going on, people? Oh, somebody's asking, is financial advisor halal? Right. Somebody is asking. Sasriyakal. Today we're going to speak about our Punjabi brethren from Qadian. Oh, kidda. Oh, balle. We're going to speak about them a little later on. Somebody said about the Espanol. Claro que sí, hermano. Claro que sí. All right. It's all about the the languages, people. Those of you that are in your homes, what I'd like to go through today as well is some tips. Besides saying stay at home, abe salo, ghar mein baitho. Quédate en tu casa. Quédate. Right, so we're going to speak a little bit about that as well. I should sit with Abu Isa and learn from him. Why not? Yeah. I'm happy to learn from each and all. Let me just put my tea down over there. Vah. What? Did I have any? Right, so. Oh, I haven't shared the. Yar, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. I haven't shared this. Ya salam. Look at this. See? COVID is getting to me. So, COVID. Let me close that down. Huh? Close down these browsers. You know, it's the amount of videos that are going viral of people that are meant to be attending, or photos that are screenshots that are going viral of people either teaching or lecturing from home or working in collaboration, the managers, and their other browsers are open. You nutty. All right, so un momentico, mi gente. Un momentico. All right, let me just share this. And then we're good to go. There we are. Ya salam. I see myself. Right, a post. Okay, there it is. Almost done. All right. It's all done, people. It's all done. All right. Vamos a empezar. Let us begin, people. دعنا نبتدئ. Not نبتدع with bid'ah. So, would you like to throw banana skins at Trump? Sure, why not? Is Dajjal behind this coronavirus? Alright, lo and behold. Rest RIP to the nurse that got stabbed up because of the lockdown. Oh, I've not known about that. That's very tragic to hear. I've not really followed up too much on the news today. May Allah bless her family, if it's a he or a she. Bless the nurse's family, make things easy for them, and grant the nurse a blessed afterlife. Mufti, you have a cold? I don't know, maybe slightly. I've already had COVID. I'm more than certain I've had that. Today would be my, what is it, third week from it, probably day, 19, 20 from it, so so I'm all good. I'm kind of glad I'm very certain I've had it a long while back. So, and then all my extended family and siblings and everybody got it, and we got it from this person who'd returned from China. And so anyway, but I'm really glad it was kind of over and done with, because now when you start hearing of all these deaths and things, you're like, whoa. But yeah. Right, Kapil Patel, how you doing? How you doing, hermano? Can you translate and explain the verse? وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Right, I've answered this previously, that وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Illa here is not referring to that. It's not referring to what many people translate it as, except that this is their only purpose. This is what many people feel that this verse is trying to say. Allah has only created us for worship, which, if you look at the meaning, doesn't seem to make too much sense, because illa liya'budun should mean that then people are not they don't really have free will. They shouldn't have, because if Allah just wanted worship, He could have kept angels, could have just, what was the purpose of all of this if it was just for worship? Just committed 100% devotional worship. So the real the translation of this, as have many people said this as well, that وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ, that I have not created them, and accept that as a gratitude, as an acknowledgement. What should their response be? Like, we, as a response to that, worship Allah. So that this is not an exemption here. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ, that I have not, وَيَعْبُدُونَ, and they then worship me out of that. So that's how and illa does come sometimes as a connective like that. So it isn't the normal, I know commonly illa is used to mean except. So yeah, I have gone into much detail before previously about that. Right now, alright. Is divorce the most hated term by Allah? Is divorce the most hated term by Allah? Do I have to be audible for... Oh, right. Oh, I thought somebody was commenting about the audio. Is divorce the most hated term by Allah? Well, people, I've got news for you, especially during the lockdown, since the divorce rates are going to go up. People are like, get out of, don't you breathe? Can you stop breathing in that annoying manner? God damn it. Right, so it's not Talaq is not hated by Allah. That hadith is fabricated and weak. These hadith, there's no such thing. I mean, it's nonsense. Why would talaq be hated by God? So that's, it just doesn't make any sense, because there's a whole surah in the Quran called Surah Al-Talaq. There's a whole, Allah is teaching how to grant talaq in the Quran. In talaqtumun nisa, if you fatalliquhunna li'iddatihinna and so on, the whole verses of the Quran. The Messenger of God had a divorce. Many companions divorced. This is not something which God hates. This, abghadul halali ilallah talaq is a fabricated and a nonsensical hadith, which somebody may have made up with good intention. So, people, how is the lockdown coming along, people? The lockdown coming along. We will be speaking about the masala segment as well. Mufti, my wife is doing my nutting. Mine, huh? She's doing my what? Doing your nut in, as in, okay. As in, she's driving you insane. Hota hai, yaar, hota hai. And it's going to get slightly, you have to tolerate. I'm going to give you some tips today. Don't worry about it, on how to handle the lockdown, people. How to handle the lockdown. We're going to deal with that. Frabri Hanji, we're going to deal with that. Salem. All right, what a slick name, huh? Salem says, Salam Mufti, do the stretching rules of tajweed not apply when reciting the Ahzan? So the muazzin seems to stretch the letters to create a tune. So this is called generally like tatrib, or trying to, this kind of having a rhythm, singing the Ahzan. In that sense, even though they don't usually refer to it as singing, but I'm just singing, all right? But overstressed the G there for a moment. But even though they, it's a kind of like a tatrib, or having some rhythm. That said, I mean, even if we casually say singing the Adhan, or having a rhythm or tune with it, this is not something which is from the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Neither in the Prophet's time did they used to do this. They never used to sing the Adhan, or kind of have a rhythm to it like this. So hence Imam Malik really discouraged and didn't like that kind of stuff. He was very harsh against all kinds of bid'ah. Now, is it a problem today? Today it's widespread that's how the Adhan is done. In fact, that's how it's become, by and large, recognized by people. So, I mean, is it a problem today? I would say maybe not today. Now that it's widespread, it's ubiquitous, everywhere. Oh, ubiquitous, rather. It's everywhere, basically. So the point is that, is it an issue today to do like people do Allah like that? I don't think that's a problem today. In the early days, when Islam was still kind of, stretching its branches, in that time they were kind of harsher against it. Some people were, because it was a bid'ah, even if it falls under a bid'ah hassana, a good bid'ah. So okay, that's the kind of summary of that. It's Monday again, Adam. Right, now I want to say, can you guys also? I've launched my new podcast, people. You're doing it. Orale. Ifzal, shout out to Claire. Claire, you're doing it. Awesome. Right, and Ifzal. Right. The question is that I've began a new podcast called Mindtrap with Mufti Abu Layth, and I am continuing that. I'm hoping to kind of knock out as many as I can of the episodes. यार people will, scandal हो जाता है यार, scandal. There's a scandal, man. The scandal. I don't know what to do, man. So I need to kind of bang out as many as I can. I want to, because the whole purpose of it is to get a flow, to get a feel of what's going on, to also face as many teething issues, to kind of tease out all the technical issues, because I'm not seated here. I could be seated here if I want, I guess, but I preferred something a bit different for the Mindtrap. I wanted something I can equally launch it from here. But I've set up the same software at my desk, and I wanted a slightly different armchair kind of feel to it. Now, so for that, I've had to set up the whole software, so everything is different over there. The PC, the mic, the webcam, everything. So, and I'm happy to kind of, spice up the equipment as we're going along, but I just wanted to launch it, because in all honesty, it's a big lesson really in life, and definitely one for me, that you see, I wanted to launch it for many months now, my podcast, but I was just being lazy. That, when everything is just right, then I'll do it. When this is just right, when I when I when my when I get the speaker system just right, the microphone just right, when I update the PC, when I maybe upgrade this, and that just never comes round. And then I realized that, what, let's just do it. Let's do it. I was trying to figure out some teething issues and some kind of technical issues that were going on, and then I just thought, let's just go live. And the first one was just a chat amongst friends. It was good though, but we had quite a lot of problems, technical problems. By day 2, I had improved a lot of them. By day 3, they were improving still. By day 4, the mic was different. Everything was, it was much better. And even when I finished that, I learned certain techniques to improve it further still. So every time I'm improving it. So I will be continuing it throughout this week as well, and throughout the quarantine, really. And then I intend to continue the show. If you haven't watched it, do watch it. It's called Mindtrap. And the whole purpose behind it is to just be able to have an honest, transparent conversation, a dialogue with people where we can discuss things. Let's just be real, keeping it real. The real sentiment, no facade, no kind of, don't have to worry too much about political correctness, just speak your mind. So that's, so if you haven't watched that, do watch it, check it out. The last one was with Dr. Majid. We discussed culture, COVID, the NHS system, potential cures, things like this. So do check that out, okay? Billy is in the house, people. All right, Billy, you're doing it. Right, so do you believe COVID-19 was spread on purpose? Somebody had asked a question about Bob's vagin. I'm just reading the name, yeah. Send Bob's vagin. He'd asked, Salam Mufti, can you talk about Omar radiallahu an and the issue of the burning of the door of Fatimah radiallahu an? I think I have spoken about that to some extent. I've said that there is some evidence in Sunni sources that Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu an did go to the house of Fatimah radiallahu anha, and he was a bit upset with what was going on, and he did kind of say things like, look, if you guys are going to promote more discord, there's some Sunni sources that suggest he said, I'll burn this house down. But this wasn't literal. He never did it, and anything saying he did, there's no authenticity, and it's ridiculous. But in a moment of anger or heat, or a person may say things, it's not, these things are not, they human kind of issues. Sometimes I'll tell you what, people, a lot of you will, now that you're spending, the government has got involved for you to spend quality time. सरकार सरकार बोली है सरकार. So now that the government has got involved, and the government has said, you better all stay at home, quédate en tu puta casa, and you better just spend quality time with your family. Now the thing is that people at this time, you're going to realize that you're going to start getting really fed up with people. Right, you're going to start, because when people are, when there's tension, when there's things, even people who may be very precious to you, people who may be very close to you, you may be emotionally attached to, these people, you will find that you are, you might have certain words with them, you might get kind of frustrated with them, you might say something out of turn. But this is, these are human issues. All right, so these are, human kind of issues, ain't they? So people do get kind of all, and you have to remember that those people, to us, obviously, they're like up there. Like, you've got Abu Bakr radiallahu an, Omar, Fatimah, Ali. But amongst themselves, they were regular people to each other, and they were common to each other. They were their kind of the way people are to you today. Around you, your friends, your family. And you will sometimes have heated exchanges. It does happen. And, it's not like you don't need to take everything and to kind of blow it up. That's all I'm saying. I mean, people will, like, even sometimes your best friends, your closest family members, you might have a heated exchange. You might say something nasty to them. You might feel something nasty about them. You might, this does happen. It's not a, I feel that Umar radiallahu an was upset with what Bani Hashim were doing. So basically, what they were doing was, after the Prophet had passed, they were gathering in the house of Fatimah radiallahu an, and Umar was saying that this is a problem, because we're trying to, because Umar was saying that you're causing more, like you're splitting up the people even more. That he says in the hadith in Sahih Bukhari, he says there's already 3 camps now. You've got a lot of the Muhajirin here, you've got, which he was a part of, Abu Bakr was a part of, you've got the Ansar saying that they want their thing, you've got the Hashimis who were gathering in the house of Fatima. And the point was that he was saying that, look, this is just, things are going to get out of hand. And he did get angry. And he did say to them that, look, you guys better, what the hell are you doing? You're still gathering here, So, whatever he said, we don't know exactly, but I mean, it was between them. Even Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu an himself in Sahih Bukhari says that, people say, إنها كانت فلتة فتمت. That's the wording of Bukhari, that they say that إنها كانت فلتة فتمت, that they say it was a rush job, but it was concluded. And he says, okay, he says it was a rush job, I admit, لكن وقانا الله شرها. There he says, but Allah saved us from the major crisis that could have come of it. And he then advises, and this is why, neither the Sunni narrative entirely fits and neither the Shia narrative fits. It's like I feel that the sources, what they seem to be saying, doesn't 100% support any of the views. Like, Umar does seem to acknowledge that we say it was a kind of rush job. And he then advises that should any of, and this is in Sahih Bukhari, that should any of you ever find yourself in this situation, then do not do what we did. And he says that let there be a shura, a group, and take things calmly. He says that in our case, things kind of got out of hand, but Allah saved us. Sometimes you get lucky. And he was trying to say not everybody is going to get lucky. So I feel that there was a clip. Somebody sent me a clip of Ammar Nakshawani, and I don't really follow Ammar Nakshawani so closely or anything like this. I know who he is, and I've not really. I've heard some of his things, and some of his things have been interesting in the past. I won't lie. I haven't heard too many, but I've heard one or two lectures where he's speaking about the adala of the Sahaba and stuff like this, and kind of presenting critiques, and I've credit where credit is due. I've said that there's certain valid points, we can't walk away from this and that, but somebody sent me this clip, and they said it was from February, just this last month, so it's very recent. It's not out of date or out of sync. Like, in case people say, why are you quoting something old? Now, in this clip, Ammar Nakshawani, what he's being asked at one point, somebody says that they call in and they say, can you give a description of Umar ibn al-Khattab or Abu Bakr? And he says, how some people say Abu Bakr was a short kind of man, so could we say he was like Danny DeVito? And could we say Umar ibn al-Khattab was, I forgot who he likened Umar ibn al-Khattab to now. But this was the caller. And he was kind of taking the mick in saying it. He was being very, obviously that's a dumb, to say, oh, look, can we liken him to Danny DeVito? What the hell? Right, so, I'm not saying anything, Danny DeVito in his own right, but the point is, to say, look, can we liken Abu Bakr radiallahu an, the caliph of the Muslims, first caliph, as to Danny DeVito in a kind of comical sense. This is a pure, you're taking the mick. And I felt that, honestly, the Shia, I don't know who the presenters, there was a presenter and there was Ammar Nakshawani, and so I felt they should have actually said that, look, I think you should be somewhat respectful, and or don't use these kind of terms. They just kind of, I think, just smirked it off, and then the questioner had asked Ammar that, the Sunnis are really obsessed about the description of Abu Bakr and Omar, and can you describe Omar, and is there any point to these descriptions? What do you think Omar would have looked like? So he says that, look, I've never understood a fascination with why people are fussed over how they looked. It makes no sense to me. Well, to be honest with you, I think that's a pure hypocritical kind of response, because they do exactly the same thing with the kind of characteristics of the Imams. They quote the Imams were like this, they looked like this. Haven't you seen his clips where he's saying, and then Ali did this, and they all start crying? And they start, and then this Imam did this, and they all start crying, and he used to look like this, and he used to look like. So to say that, I can't fathom why any people would want to even know about the description of some of the icons, like who says anything like that? That's just being, like, in my opinion, it's just being stupid, because of course people they're intrigued, they iconize these are the symbols of many, in fact the majority of the Muslims in the world. These are their kind of symbols. Now I understand you may not like Umar ibn al-Khattab, I get that. I'm not asking you to like him, but I'm just saying that, obviously, like, being silly like that. And the other thing was, he said, well, all I can say about his description is, when he used to walk, the shaitan would cross the road, so you can imagine what he looked like. And when women saw him, they lost and he had the ability to make women lose their children, have a miscarriage. And I think by that, I could be wrong, I think by that he was referring to Fatimah radiallahu anha. Look, this thing, you've got to. I won't lie. I was a bit not a bit. I was disappointed by the way he handled that. I understand that the Shia don't like Omar. I get that. I'm not asking them to like Omar. I'm not asking them to like Muawiyah. I'm not asking them to like Uthman. I'm not asking them to like these people. But the truth is, look, we are where we are. Islam has come this long way and it's come here now. What do you want us to do? What do you want people to do? Like, let us just build some bridges between ourselves. I am all for unity. I'm all for trying to extend a hand and trying to say, look, most average Sunnis don't know this debate. Most average Shia don't know this debate. Why are we constantly kind of like just trying to slaughter the other people, metaphorically, and in some cases, God forbid, physically? Now, this is not the way of human beings, like not of what Allah has gifted us with an intellect. I get that we disagree. I get that. I mean, I have, several friends. I respect them dearly. They're Shia. I know they would never agree with me on my views of Omar or my views of Muawiyah, and I don't expect them to. To me, that would never be my kind of demand from somebody that you must believe what I believe. But I just felt that, look, in a day and age like this, I think it's better to focus on building bridges. Especially, and because what it does is it goes back, forth, because now a lot of Sunnis were playing that clip and saying, see, the Shia, the, blah, 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 blah. And they're kind of, fueling up the hatred again. And you see, and then it's a problem because then I've had people say to me that, this is your kind of problem because you are soft on the Shia and you're a Sunni and you ought to take. But I stand firmly that, look, I believe in dialogue. I believe in kind of building bridges. I believe that the hatred is not the way forward. And I have got nothing to do with any of these things in the past. I mean, I wasn't born then. I don't, I've got a take on history, but, anybody can have a take. So I hope this, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I hopefully it makes some sense to some people, because it is disappointing and it does get, it can get just very sectarian. Yusuf Fulat, shukran, much love. All right, what is going on? Somebody said something about a quote. Let me see. I can't see it. Somebody has asked about Dear Abu Layth. Hope your family are well, shukran. Asrar Rashid has almost 5 million hits from his 2 videos after drinking fake poison. Yeah, this is the problem, you see. Notanki. Why don't I have these kind of things? I don't, because the Notanki, I need to improve my game, up my game on Notanki. Drama, melodrama. I can't, I don't, Ghalib, you're doing it. Much love. Should you be grateful for what you have because others are less fortunate, so I don't have to be grateful because others are more fortunate? That's actually a very good question. Let me come to that, Ghalib, because I want to tie that in with the COVID, the lockdown, and tips for what people can do. So, but I mean, Asrar, you see, Asrar, honestly, I feel that he is just trying to be relevant, but in the dumbest of ways. We drink poison, and we drink poison. I heard, I didn't actually watch, but he's made a video on should we be doing ghusl for the deceased from COVID. And because the instructions are really, you should beware, because you need like PPE and all this stuff. And most masjids, funeral parlors, Muslim kind of funeral homes don't really have that, because we don't generally have Muslim funeral homes. They're within certain masajid. Now, he was saying that this cannot be foregone. This is an obligation for the kifaya. And COVID is just a doubt. And this is a certainty. And a doubt cannot remove a certainty. Are वाह, अरे वाह मेरे गुरु, वाह. Pranam. Ayo Hazrat. Wallahi, there must be a reason that God limited your IQ. But this is the problem, I guess. And this is the problem. If you're challenged intellectually in life, I'd asked this question before, that do you think, like, people when they're dumb, do you think they know they're dumb? Like, can stupid people, do they know that they're stupid? They don't, because that wouldn't they wouldn't know, because you see, they probably think the world is dumb. You thickos. Let me go back to licking the windows. So the issue is that, yeah, most people, and I'll tell you why you don't know. You see, when it comes to a skill, like imagine artistry or carpentry or something, I can witness somebody doing that. So somebody could come here, they could get a piece of wood, cut it in such a way, do all of this in front of me, and I could think, damn, I couldn't do that, because if I try it, like, I can objectively view them and compare it to my own skills. Now, when I see somebody drawing and I think, wow, he can really draw, or somebody playing a sport, playing football in a certain way, and I think, oh wow, I can't do that. I know I'm not good enough to do that. So I know people are better than me in these things. But when it comes to thought, we can't think outside of our own thought. So we can't compare our thought to somebody else's thought. With great difficulty, maybe you can get some inklings and analyses, but most people can't. Like, they would really struggle to, because it's so hard. They've got to try and really think out of their own capacity. So this is why they don't recognize that they're stupid or dumb. They just think the world is dumb. All right, Mufti, shout out to Zahra. You're doing it, Zahra. All right, ¿qué pasa, amigo? All right, doing it, muy bien, Shabij. All right, ¿qué tal? Darwish, hey Mufti, we should do a Mindtrap in Spanish. Ándale. Vato, saludos a la familia. Y usted, mi hermano, y usted. Right, so, but look, my Spanish ain't up to that to do a session. I need to practice much more, right, in speaking to do that. But yeah, inshallah, someday. Claro. What's going on? No pasa nada, people. What? I've seen you play in Power League. I don't know what that is. Send to lift kara do, Mufti Saab. Asma ji. Ahlan wa sahlan. Right, so somebody had asked about, in my Mindtrap, can I discuss about Arabia pre and before? I will actually. Here's an interesting book I just got hold of recently. Arabian Religion Before Muhammad by Dr. Brian Bradford. I mean, it's a brief book, but it's once again it's in addition to the existing research. It's very interesting. But yeah, right. Somebody has asked time and time again, what is bid'atul hasana? Muhammad Muhyiddin, yaar banda pareshan hai. He's bothered. I think we should answer him. So, what is bid'atul hasana? Basically, there is a difference of opinion amongst the scholars of Islam. Can we invent worship within Islam? Worship that has been generically introduced. So let's say, as an example, the Prophet generically advised us to do dhikr, remember Allah. But he never taught us specifics. Can we now ordain specifics, define specifics? As in, I say, right, every Thursday at 5 p.m., one must recite 542, Ya Latifs. Why? Because Thursday happens to be a day on which this event happened, and 5 o'clock signifies, I don't know, the 5 something that took place, and this signifies this many verses in the Quran. So I just come up with my own total kind of formula, and I arrive at something, and I say, okay, we're going to do this now, and this is going to bring us some kind of rewards and blessings. Now, this would be an innovation, but it would fall under what they call bid'ah al-idafiyah, because doing dhikr is legislated, just defining and restricting it isn't. So if you define and restrict it, what would happen then? Now, Imam Malik was against this, okay, as was the Hanbali madhab, generally speaking. So you've got these two madhabs were against it. The Hanafis seem to be accepting, and the Shafi'is seem to be accepting of it. So that's the split. Imam Malik was quite strict. In fact, Ibn Majishun transmits from Imam Malik that he said anybody who claims that there is a good bid'ah in Islam has claimed that the Prophet betrayed Islam, because the Prophet knew a doorway to Jannah and intentionally hid it from you. So the Imam Malik's attitude towards bid'ah was very harsh. Right, so Hamza Makbul on Mindtrap. I would love to get Hamza Makbul on Mindtrap. By the way, if you know any people that are interesting and interested, the two shara'id conditions, that they have to be interesting and interested, then do reach out to them and me, and I'd love to get them on Mindtrap. Right, so is there a jury in an Islamic court? Right, Anthony, that's a very good question. Is there a jury in an Islamic court? Now, the Sharia did, you see, this Hay'atul Muhallafin, according to several, you see, according to certain people, which is the jury, took its roots from Muslim kind of law and theory, legal theory. Now, I don't know whether that's entirely true, but I think that there are some kind of parallels. So, traditionally, in places like Sicily and stuff like that, when it was under Islamic rule and there was a lack of judges, you see, there is this thing of you have to bring a certain amount, like if you want to testify for something, like is this person guilty? Is this person, does this person own this? Is this person, innocent of this? Is this person? One is the judge listening to. You see, the judge listening to evidences and then making a judgment. But what constitutes as evidence? So what constitutes as evidence would be that for example, imagine several people turned up and said, oh, I witnessed this person doing this. Now, I witnessed this person could not have been there because he was somewhere else. Or I testify that this belongs to this person, or I testify these people are married, or I testify that this. The issue was that in certain places you couldn't get validated testimonies. So this concept of the lafif emerges within Maliki fiqh, where you kind of just get a group of people who in and of themselves are not maybe reliable, but I mean, when I say not reliable, as in I suppose they are, it's not that they're dishonest, but you can't validate them. Because normally there was like a vouching system. But we're going to get a group of them, swear them in under oath, and then get them all as a group to testify. This shahadatul lafif kind of concept, and this determines the outcome of the case, is something that did exist in Maliki fiqh. Now, people have claimed that this then develops into the jury system later on in Europe. It may well be, to be fair. I have read something, and I did download a few articles on it, and I even tried to get hold of a book, but I can't recall whether I did get it. I don't think I could find it in the end. But I got a bunch of articles on it, and then I didn't fully follow it through. But I will now that you've reminded me. But it's very interesting. It's a very interesting thing. If Malikiya do Sadal, the Shia also do Sadal. Is Maliki half Shia? Is Maliki half Shia? Of course not. The Sadal is that you drop your arms in Salah. Many people did Sadal. So Imam Malik, Hassan al-Basri, Imam Awza'i, Layth ibn Sa'ad, Hassan, Hamad, I believe maybe both of the Hammads, or but there was a lot. Sa'id ibn Jubayr, Sa'id ibn Musayyib, Ibn Shihab Zuhri. You've got so many people. Ibrahim al-Nakha'i. All of these people used to do Sadal in prayer. So it's not something that's exclusively Shia. Okay. So just to be kind of clear on that. How do we understand Qada? Most interesting thing. Alright. Let's take some questions. What's going on, mi gente? Orale. Did Uthman radiallahu anhu Sadal? I'm not sure actually if Uthman's name is in that. Sadal and Qabd, as Ibn Abdul Bar says in the Kafi, which there you can't. There is. It's just here. The Kafi, he says, As-Sadal wal-Qabd kilahuma Sunnah. Both are from the Sunnah of the Prophet. Whosoever does whatever, it's fine. And that's the opinion I go with as well. Mufti, you missed Zeba's super chat. Did I? I missed a super chat. People, if you want, feel free to send in super chats if you want to support it. Doing it, people. Let me scroll up, see. Nope, I've scrolled up all I could. There's no no super chat that I could see under there. That's gone. Cool. Mufti, what watch you wearing? Yeah, you naughty. You're trying to get the personal information, huh? Mufti, do some tilawa, man. Yeah, I'm not my tilawa is just standard. I just read like anybody else would read. I'm not amongst the qurra that has an outstanding. I'm not gonna be able to go. What was that's not my style of recitation. When I learnt, it was just basic kind of recitation. I did learn it with the tajweed rules and all of that, and so my pronunciation is Arabic pronunciation. It's not the desi, but I'm not like a tilawa kind of person. There's nothing really You'll have to carry on, move on to the next qari. I'm not a qari per se. It's like me saying to you, somebody, sing. Why just sing something for me? I mean, it does, it doesn't mean just because, like, let's say you go to a poet, or you go to somebody who's artistic, or somebody, an author, or somebody who works with words. It doesn't mean that they necessarily would be of singing quality. It doesn't mean that. So when my tilawat is fine, but it's not like of that kind of standard, of any kind of artistic standard. Ab kahe ko, when there's all these great qurra out there, why kahe ko apni besti karaun? Right, so Izzy, you're doing it. Right, Mufti, do you regret not associating more with the local Qari Saab? Not having a relationship with the Qari Saab. Earrings allowed for men. I think I'll let that answer the question. Mufti, if my husband has a micro penis, is it... Oh! People, let's zoom in on this question. If my... Yeah, you know what? Damn. Where's my... this is the problem. This is the problem, people. If my husband has a micro penis, is it grounds for divorce? I mean, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? Calling a micro penis a ground. Is this ground zero for... Come on, no need to be harsh like that. I mean, you can... you can be a bit more, gentle with the guy. You don't need to be like, kind of, look, it's I guess it's, it's not, it's the small things that matter in life. I think we need to zero in on the problem here. I think we should rise above all of this. Come on. You're bigger than this. You're bigger and better than this. Come on, you can do it. This one not nice. This one a bit cruel, this one. Toba, 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 toba. Our sympathies do go out for such victims. I don't know whether science, whether the medical, I don't know whether could medical do any, could they have a surgery in this day and age? I mean, there's all kinds of surgeries. Can they enlarge surgically? Sochna padega. I've got to think about this now. I've got to do some research. Billy's already going to be on the research. Billy, our brethren from the Caribbean who's online, maybe he's willing to donate. All right, people, let's focus back on the on some of your questions. Right, so yeah, I mean, regarding the question, can she divorce? Yes, of course she can divorce if she wanted. You can divorce with less than that, and that's a huge issue. If it is, I'm sure it may be an issue, and in which case she can. Right, Mufti got me into watching Vikings. Vikings, it was only the first several seasons that were good, and then it kind of dragged. I think after after Ragnar is killed, I think it just gets a bit, they kind of lose the plot, I don't know. That's what I felt, and then I kind of felt like many series that have so many seasons that it falls apart. You know what I recently started watching again was Prison Break. I thought let me just watch season 1 and season 2 only, but boy, I didn't think it would be that good again because I thought watching it the second time would be like, but boy, is it good. God, there's so much to watch. Right. So let's take some other questions, people. Thank you, Mufti Saab, for coming to Al Mahdi Institute. Nav, shukran, shukran. It was a pleasure going there. It was awesome. Um, I really did enjoy. I think they've got such an amazing institute in Birmingham. It's amazing. It's probably the best Islamic institute in terms of building and the way it is that I've visited personally. You skipped my super chat, Inaya. Did I send your question again? I'll take a look. What's your opinion on concubines? What's my opinion on concubines? What does that mean? Billy, what is this question saying? What is our opinion? Did Islam increase in aggressions during the final years of revelation? That's an interesting question. Did Islam increase in aggression? I don't think so. Now, I could see where you're coming from in the sense that there wasn't much war in early Islam, as in the Meccan period, and it is in the Medinan period. But really, that goes through the entire Medinan period, from Battle of Badr right through. The last, in the 9th year of Hijri is Amul Wufud, when the delegations come to see the Prophet. I don't believe the Prophet is kind of being aggressive with them. In fact, if anything, the Prophet ﷺ is being very compassionate with them. And not all of them embrace Islam. The Wafd of Najran, the Christians, they come, and the Prophet allows them to pray in his mosque. They pray facing the east, the Christians in the Prophet's mosque. And many people even use that as a basis to that of interfaith kind of things, like Ibn al-Qayyim and other people. So I don't believe that that's true, that the Prophet used that much aggression. Another interesting theory, which I won't go into not theory, but a discourse, which I won't go into too much, is this whole thing of the Hurub al-Ridda, the Apostasy Wars, but it ties into Zakat. Now, in the 9th year of Hijri, the Prophet has Zakat collected he does receive Zakat from these different tribes. What's interesting is it appears from my reading so far that the Prophet wasn't actually so strict about it, because it seems that only several tribes seem to give the Prophet, and many of them may be doing so voluntarily, and others, but he's not really, and there are several tribes that seem to not give to the Prophet Zakat. But yet the Prophet doesn't kind of attack them or anything, and it's interesting that I'm still reading into it, that what seems to be happening. And so I mean, the aggression thing doesn't seem to stand true. I don't know, that's my reading. Allahu A'lam. Inaya, I complimented. Shukran, Inaya. Right. May Allah keep you smiling. Ameen. Right, so your thoughts on eternal hell and damnation. The title Wars of Apostasy is problematic. Yeah. Terran, I agree with you. Hurub al-Ridda, that's what people have called them. So we're just going with what people have called it. Obviously, that's not what Abu Bakr or those people called it. Others said, it's it was to do with zakat and submission. Inaya said you look dashing as usual, my favorite. Ah, shukran, shukran, shukran. This people, this is the beauty in your sight. Allah, Allah, Allah. But this thing of Abu Bakr radiallahu an is about, you see, the question is that zakat seems to be, you see, you have to remember back then, we seem to misunderstand and think the main thing of zakat was money. It wasn't. Like the Arabs did deal in gold and silver, but that was not their main kind of commodity. Their main commodity was like bartering, like camels and, horses and sheep and that kind of stuff. So, what you're preparing, stocking, you could be plotting, you could be having other plans, you could allowing to give zakat, because zakat was collected by the sa'i, by an administrator that was kind of sent. You had to renounce your right to privacy, because he would come into your assets. You could not stop him, and he would literally take account of everything you have. Now, everything of some worth. Now, that was a great deal of maybe exposure and maybe feared vulnerability by certain Arab tribes. Like I don't think that settled well with certain tribes, because the Arabs, one, they had an issue with taxation anyway. And the other, they had an issue with, this invasion of privacy. And because they saw it as a kind of humiliation as well. Now this is, that I can see that this may have been part of what got into the whole war with Abu Bakr radiallahu an, because it was the ultimate submission. And you see, for Abu Bakr radiallahu an, because things were shaking, would the center hold, or will everything go to the dogs? He felt that now the moment was a make or break deal, that you must offer absolute submission if this thing is going to work. And so he said that he made the decision that, you will give up your right to privacy, and you will give up, if necessary, of assets, what belongs in zakat. And I will fight it tooth and nail. By tooth and claw, basically, if you resist, So I think there's a lot of interesting kind of thought processes going on, and I'm still reading up on a lot of it, so I'm not fully, I don't have 100% of the picture yet. Yusuf Fulat, shukran, much love, right at you. Omar, our prayer mats bid'ah. All right, Salman Sadiq, you're doing it. Are prayer mats bid'ah? Prayer mats are, I mean, maybe not. Imam Malik didn't like the concept of prayer mat. Imam Malik was like super strict. He was like the Inaya, of course you are. Unquestionably. So, this thing of prayer mats. Mufti, ¿cuál es tu sabio favorito en la escuela Maliki? Okay, so, I mean, there's so many of the kind of ulama and people I love within the Maliki madhab. Right, but I just want to answer this on, before I forget, on before I forget, on prayer mats. So I think if you think it's something so holy, it could kind of venture in as a bid'atul hassana. Yeah. If you think it's just an accessory that I just pray on here because I know, the ground isn't clean and so on, then it's fine. The Maliki madhab tends to stress something natural. But I mean, in this culture, it may not be easy getting straw mats and natural things. So if you pray on a prayer mat, it's no big deal. The Messenger of Allah said, جُعِلَتْ لِيَ الْأَرْضُ مَسْجِدًا وَطَهُورًا. The earth has been made a place of worship. And that's another interesting question that, does masjid mean masjid? The masjid from the Quran, does it mean a mosque? Or is this something that is later, this kind of institutionalized, this understanding? And dodged that question rapid, Mufti. I can only rate it. I don't know what that question was. What's the word rape in the clear, concise Quran? Right. Okay, so the Quran doesn't tackle rape per se as a specific phenomenon. I'm just trying to think. I mean, it'll fall under broader things, so the Quran does tackle oppression, transgression, aggression, causing harm, brutality, but it doesn't specify sexual violence. It doesn't specify that. I mean, it would fall under general kind of dhulm and stuff like that. The other thing is that what is... but that doesn't... Generally in the Arabic fiqh books, the Malikiya kind of put it under ightisab, they called it. Some people did call it i'tida as well, which just means basically a kind of aggression, like where you've kind of harmed someone wrongfully by action. But and it is a broad term. Ightisab originally was from kind of robbing someone. It was originally where you forcefully kind of take something from someone. Ghusl. Now, the Malikis tend to use ightisab quite often then for rape within the fiqh. I think the Hanafiya tend to stick with zina bil jabr. They tend to stick with that term, that having sex by force. They use the word like that in their fiqh books. And the Malikiya use ightisab. But I don't think any of them took this, ignored the matter. I don't think just because the Quran doesn't tackle it, use it as a term, that the Quran didn't think this is, that it thought that this is insignificant or something. That's not true at all. Neda, Nathan, alaykum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan bikum. Harut and Marut are not angels. Nope, they are not angels, people. Mufti, watching you from Uganda. Alright, you're doing it. That reminds me, people. So, there's, where's it gone? I'm not sure whether this is Uganda, but one of the African countries has got this clip of these people getting ready for the funeral and they're kind of dancing. And it shows there's so many memes going about of people who are bored during the quarantine and basically they end up dead. So here's one. That's the group. Alright. People, that's this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Moment you're doing it, is menage a trois allowed with your wives? You're trying to make people jealous on here, huh? Trying to say, whilst people are locked down single, you're trying to discuss menage a trois, the triangular situation. Triangular, this one. This one. Isosceles, or what kind of triangle is this? You nutty. Moment. What a name, Moment. What's his... Can I click on the full name? No, I can't. Right, so his menage... Right, so I read something about the Belgium government saying they're stopping any kind of sexual activity with more than one person. So they're saying all sexual orgies. I read this honestly as or threesomes or wife swapping or any of these things are considered odd. They've kind of, there's a ban on them. They're prohibited until the lockdown is over. So momento, behave, you nutty. Have you seen the movie The Platform? I have watched The Platform. I thought it was a very intriguing movie, although I thought the ending was a bit what happened here? It's with a lot of these movies, the ending just didn't seem to do it for me, but the concept in the beginning and the thought was like, wow. And I love watching Spanish movies, so if you do have any Spanish recommendations, do send them to me. Is it true Harut and Marut are not the angels? Yeah, man. I've done a whole clip on Harut and Marut. Do watch it. But that is correct, yeah. Mufti, you ignored my super chat. Nadeem? Did I? Yeah, how can I be missing these super chat? That can't be. Oh, here it is. I'm left-handed. Is it halal to drink with my left? Right. I'm left-handed as well. I'm actually ambidextrous. That's not talking about sexuality. Ambidextrous is the ability to write with both hands. I can do that, but I'm generally left-handed. So, you see, for left-handed people, eating or doing things with the left hand, it isn't haram to do things with the left hand. It's not like haram to drink with the left hand or haram to eat with the left hand. Generally, in Islam, the etiquettes were deemed that you eat with the right hand. That was generally because that was, by and large, a kind of the cultural understanding that it was how people did things. So, that's how I would say that it's in line with those etiquettes. And then if somebody said, well, the Prophet said it, and therefore out of kind of respect and devotion, I'm going to do it, there's a reward in that. But it's not a sin in Islam to eat with the left hand. I mean, the left hand is also an equal, it's also from God. It's not like this one came from the devil and this one came from God. It doesn't work like that. So, yeah, Frobbery is saying he's also ambidextrous. So, thoughts on Muhammad ibn Munir? I'm not sure who that is. Who's Muhammad ibn Munir? Mufti, please do a video on evolution. I have a video on evolution. Abey, yaar, why do you look at my videos? This is the problem. People don't watch my videos. And then they're like, Mufti, do a video on this. Right. So people, what's this lockdown saying, people? What's this?
No virus can beat us.
No virus can beat us.
No virus can beat Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah.
Ahl-Sunnah
No
wal
virus
Jama'ah.
can beat the insane of Mustafa. नबी के गुलामों को कोई वायरस छू नहीं नबी के गुलामों को कोई वायरस छू नहीं सकता जो गुस्ताख है उसको वैसे कोई बचा नहीं सकता
all right, calm down, bruv. Virus. कोई virus नहीं बचा सकता. कोई virus. Virus. People, I wanted to share some thoughts on this whole quarantine situation. Mufti, cuando nas visitas en Sur America? Alright, lado del sur. Alright, South side. You're doing it. You're doing it. That's it, man. The lado sur, people. So, I think Latin America is just somewhere. So, shall I tell you something? I was saying this yesterday to a friend. I'd actually planned on my planner at the beginning of the year that I will this year. There were several courses that I want to attend, kind of focus on develop my learning on psychology, like further research theories. I was attending all these. I'd kind of booked myself into several different ones. I mean, I hadn't paid yet, but obviously just made initial reservations. They were spread right out throughout the year. I had also got in touch with schools, language schools abroad, and the ones that are kind of spread out. And I'd already made contact and plans on 2 separate visits where I was going to initially go to Spain, spend maybe like a week with natives, and I was going to just kind of that. And I was actually planning on doing the first trip about now. It was early April. That's what I had kind of planned, that I would go there, spend about 6 days the first time, second time about 8 days. And I was then planning that once I've got that out the way this year, then maybe next year, because I wanted to do Spain first, get used to it, improve with it, plus it's close to the UK, and then go to Latin America. But al-insan yudabbir wallahu yuqaddir. Huh? Man proposes, God disposes. That's the, our plans. As it's said that God, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And God, I plan to do this. Acha! That's, so this is the... So I do have plans, just like everybody else, but I do have plans of visiting, traveling a bit, doing different things, inshallah. But right now, I think the world is kind of crippled. So, but the great thing is that we're all in it together. Don't you think that's amazing? I was thinking about that the other day. It is amazing that we are all in it together. That I am sitting here right now, let's say, you're sitting over wherever you are watching this. You have got this same problem, the global, I don't mean individual problems, but this problem looming over you of a lockdown, a paralysis, a social paralysis, a kind of global pandemic, as me, as a prime minister, as a celebrity, as the Queen. I mean, you name them, any person. I mean, Sylvester Stallone he would be sitting wherever he is right now thinking of the same thing. Shah Rukh Khan would be sitting thinking of the same thing. I mean, it doesn't, Imran Khan, the point is, it doesn't matter who you are in the world today. We've all become united in our focal point. And right, and I think that is of itself, right, amazing. That, if, Lola, if it was not for the tragedy, it's artistic. It's amazing artwork. Putin, I just don't get what Putin is. What is the Russian sitcho? I mean, is it just not being exposed? Is it not being... I don't know. But there are a lot of people. I wanted to share some thoughts that, look, somebody's asking about my bracelet. There it is, people. There it is. And the watch. Oh, my chain. Oh, they're saying, are these effeminate? I don't know if that's how you like your women. Each to their own. I mean, it's not for me to say now, you nutty. If you like them all beefed up with with this kind of gear, then okay, we've got some. You too have some daddy issues going on. Right, so guys, let's focus. Let's bring our attention to Corona. A lot of people are in lockdown. They're in quarantine, and some people are really stressed out. It's getting to people, and I want to share some kind of some thoughts, suggestions, coping mechanisms. I understand this is difficult. This is going to be difficult, yeah, because people they've been stripped from certain freedoms. The whole country has been stripped. There's uncertainty in the air. For some people, job related, for other people just this lockdown, getting ill, recovery, when will it end? The whole thing is one of uncertainty. Then they are confined to certain spaces in which they have to share space. They have to be in each other's face every day, which in and of itself is a very difficult task. Okay, it is literally, to some extent, like being in prison. Okay, but some of us have that experience. Let me seriously tell you, and I'm being serious. I mean, even when I humor, whether it's there or not, but I'm being serious about this. People, this struggle is one of the nafs. And I'm being really serious when I say that. You have to see this as mind over matter. Honestly, it is the nafs that is struggling, because it feels that it's been imprisoned, it's being suffocated. You have to overcome that hurdle. Once you do, you will liberate the mind. I'm telling you, it is your mind that is just feeling this suffocation. It's not even, you see, some people, they may have sat at home anyway. Now, they may have felt that, I don't go out anyway, but the moment they're told you can't go out, they start to feel restricted, suffocated, claustrophobic. Fight the nafs, people. You can overcome it. It is, wallahi, mind over matter. Right, just and once you do, you will find peace with yourself. Honestly, it is not nowhere near the kind of struggle you will realize once you just get over that hurdle. Okay. Now, I want to stress that, because a lot of people, I think, don't realize that there are other methods as well. I mean, other coping tips. What I would say is, one, if your work allows this, I don't know, obviously people have got different work hours and routines, but maybe change your time span. Okay. Right. Handsome Hound, I'll come to your question in just a moment. Okay. But the answer is yes, you can. Right. So now, look, if the point is that if your work is non-time specific, like you can just do a certain amount of work online or whatever it is, maybe change your hours to where you're waking up more during the night, and you've got a different kind of routine. So your sleeping hours are maybe towards the morning, you're sleeping into the afternoon, and you're kind of waking up, doing your thing, and then maybe that might help. You see, because sometimes what that does is it avoids that. You see, when you're awake at night, other people are often asleep, and there's a lack of face-to-face contact. There's a lack of, you're still kind of just in your own world. And as a person, I find that the night seems to really go by much faster. I don't know why. Plus, because it's dark, you don't really have an urge to go outside, just subconsciously. But this may not be for everyone. I am a nocturnal. I am a vampire. I mean, I can do days as well. I feel I've done both. But I know for some people being nocturnal is really difficult. So that's fine. I mean, if they can't. But if you can, that might help. Understand that, look, you will get agitated with people, because once you understand that, you'll stop, you'll recognize the problem before things happen. So you just kind of calm yourself. If you've got some space in your house, maybe set that aside where you try and do some reading. Try and do some. This is an opportunity, people. Seek out, wallahi. Seek out the opportunity in the crisis. Okay. Seek it out. There will be something for you in this. I'm telling you. You just need to look at it, that's all. And everybody is different. For some people, maybe they've wanted to, they've always been trying to get something done. I mean, I'm sure we're all trying to get something done, but for some people it may have been reading, it may have been learning, it may have been, some people have learning a new language, it may have been catching up on things, doing exercise. I know you can't get to the gym, but do exercise at home. You understand? Like, if you've got you look them up on YouTube, different things you can do, 5-minute workouts, 10-minute workouts. What I'm trying to say is a lot of it is in your mind. Okay? As long as you variate, you kind of diversify what it is you're doing. Like, you're reading a bit of this, you're watching a bit of that, you're learning a bit of this, you're doing this, you've had a phone call with this person, maybe a video chat with that person, you've maybe had a walk to the shop, got something, come back. I'm telling you that the mind will be very calm and relaxed. And the reason I'm saying this, somebody saying it will give you anxiety, it won't. Like, you see, just because you're in lockdown anyway, I'm telling you, anybody who has been confined in their lifetime, this is luxury. I'm telling you, you've got everything you need. You've got your own space, your own home, your family, access to TV, access to the internet, phone calls, video chats. You can walk out of the door to the shop. You can come home. You have got it all. You're just refusing to see it. That's all. And look, you have, the reason I'm saying this, I've spoken to so many people and several people, not so many, but several people who do come across quite agitated. So this is my genuine advice. So I mean, I would state that look, don't let it get to you. And wallahi, it is a struggle of the nafs. And as you overcome that nafs, this struggle will dissipate. It will vanish. You will be at peace. Like I haven't been out for several days, honestly. Like, even, in the whole week now, I've only been out once, and I just went to a shop. Twice, actually, to the shop. That's it. So many days I've just literally been out. Wallahi, I've not even realized it. I'm telling you, it is mind over matter. Right? You just have to train yourself. I have, for a short period of my life, suffered some unfortunate circumstances where I was confined. And this is a luxury compared to that. And what the mind does is it automatically puts you back in that place by default. So you return to when you were confined. And then you think, well, actually, this is amazing. I could still do all this. I can do that. I can go live. Wow, what more do I need? You understand? It's how you look at things. And somebody had asked me the question before they said that, should I be grateful? Because if I look at people beneath me, I should be grateful, but then I could look at people above me and say they've got more. Look, somebody out there will always have more. We as human beings compare ourselves. We are social creatures. We look at each other and compare ourselves to other people. So we do get all kind of anxious when we see everybody's got something else, and when we see, that we are, oh my God, I haven't got the latest iPhone, the latest Samsung, I haven't got these things, I haven't got. But I'm telling you, look, that is going to happen anyway. We are social creatures. But what we need to do is train ourselves. Train ourselves to appreciate, that there are so many people who have got it so much worse. Because once, you see, real ghina, real richness is qana'atun nafs. It is the kind of contentment of the nafs. You have to develop it, people. I'm telling you. This is maybe an opportunity that it is being thrusted upon you, that you have to come to terms with it. I mean, I'm, maybe a lot of you are watching this are much younger than me, but I'm from a generation where there was still certain things, and then I did certain things in my life. For many years I traveled and studied, and I lived in hardships. Sometimes you didn't have food, sometimes you got really sick, there was nobody to take care of you, sometimes you had no money. All of these things, I've seen them. I'm not saying I've seen the most out of any, and whatever there was, alhamdulillah, it was only what it was. But the point is, you do learn this concept of kind of getting by. Like sometimes, I remember in Pakistan, this whole concept of guzara, like you get by. Survival. That, I remember being in madrasa and sometimes there was no food. When I was in Islamabad, there was a Pir Karam Shah Sahib's madrasa. May Allah bless them, they're amazing people. But they had, sometimes they run out of food. And they said, look, we'll get some, naan, and let's get a bit of yogurt. Maybe a bit of onions, yogurt. People just eat it. Just get by, guzara hai, and you just get by. It's not, this ain't time for nakhre. This ain't time for kind of like just going, oh, where's my luxury caviar? And where's my, this ain't, what the, you have to adjust in the world. I mean, these things are only momentary. The nafs, this is what I'm saying, the struggle of the nafs. Sometimes you live it a bit hard. There were times we slept on the floor. There were times we just used a sleeping bag. There were times we had no fan working, electricity. We lost electricity. There were times, water. We were struggling with the water we had. Like, these things happen. And as horrible as they are, but they sometimes teach you in life that, look, it's okay to just get by, to just kind of think that, look, okay, I haven't got this, inshallah, tomorrow I will. Koi baat nahi, koi nahi yaar. It's not the end of the world. Just smile and keep moving along. It's not something, let's not be a kind of, such a sensitive kind of people. So I felt, and look, always know in your heart that Inna Allah ma'ana, Allah has got you. Know that in your heart, and it will give you strength. So this isn't something to lose to, or to give up to, or to kind of fail to. So I these are important words. Why? Because I see when I'm speaking to people that what they're going through, and I think that, wow, okay, that, subhanallah, like, why can't, and I understand that sometimes because this generation that's grown up now hasn't had an absence of things, it's difficult having a frame of reference for it. But it's in the mind, people, it's in the mind. May Allah make things easy for each and all. Okay, so I wanted to say that to help people. So maybe some people can kind of find some solace in what I'm saying, or it resonates with some people. I don't know. Chalo. Or reading some books or researching, like I try to research. I'm still reading up on the whole Fatimid thing as well, by the way. And I try to research at least one thing about them each day, like usually before I'm sleeping. End up falling asleep. No. But I'm like always, oh, what was this? What was that? And, and just questions. You ask this question, then you end up searching that. And what's this question? Searching that. And it's amazing, amazing. But yeah, so cool. People, I hope that's of some help. There are some, by the way, people who want summaries of books. There are certain apps and websites. There's something, is it Blinklist? I've got it on my phone anyway, but they give summaries of books, if that helps you. You can kind of, the books they've got on, they'll provide you like summaries from the book, reducing the book to its summary key points. So that's very good. I tend to use Scribd quite a bit as well for research. It has documents, books, ebooks, audiobooks. It has everything. I use Audible a lot as well to go through. I'm just finishing actually. Last half hour left of Ibn Khaldun. I finished it, but there was one chapter that I felt I didn't listen to properly. I'm going through that on Audible. But so keep yourself engaged. Cool. All right. Somebody said I don't have Mufti's. I don't have access to the gym right now, but Alhamdulillah, no problemo. Things come, things. Guzara hai, guzara. They used to have this thing. When I used to study in Pakistan, they had this culture which was like, people would say, they would say Allah Malik. Like don't worry, God. It's up to God. Like, God's got it. Like, He's in charge ultimately. Allah Malik here, like this. But it was a culture, but this was a statement symbolic of a sense of stoicism. Like, they just like, whatever happens, happened. Oh, this has happened. Oh, no problem. This happened to him. Chalo Allah Malik. This happened, calamity, this car accident happened. Chalo Allah Malik. And it surprised me sometimes how they did that. I was like, because it was the worst of things I saw sometimes. I couldn't envisage life without I remember there's this person. He was a close friend of my uncle, and he was a police officer as well. And he, in an accident, he became paralyzed, and he was just like. He was like, Chalo Allah Malik. Wallahi, I was like, so, wow. Like, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know the words. Like, what do I say here? But yeah. So, yassar Allah. Mufti, no gym. Yeah. I'm just having to work out at home. I'm just doing loads of. I've got some dumbbells. I've ordered this gym thing, which they're not delivering. God damn it! But just working out at home, just loads of press ups, loads of it keeps you going. Can I get ijaza en Matn al-Ashmawiya para mi gente, por favor? Claro que sí. What is the best explanation for it? How can I contact you? Contact me on Instagram, and we'll take it from there, inshallah. But it is on YouTube, my commentary on it. Salam from Houston. Doing it, Zubayr. Doing it. Right, let's take a look at people. We've got this. Speaking of virus. We've got this hadith. And there is healing in black cumin. Okay. For all diseases except death. Okay. Fil habbatis sawda. Shifa min kulli da. Allah. All people from all illnesses. Illa sam. Allah. Now, I did have. Did I leave it out? Damn. But now I left it. But there was. You see, this riwayah comes. There's about 4 riwayat of this in Bukhari. There's 4 in Sahih Muslim. There is a narration in Tirmidhi, in Ibn Majah, in the Musnad of Ahmad, etc. Every single narration to do with these is problematized. Every single narration. Now you will find the Bukhari narration being transmitted by Yahya ibn Bukayr, who, by the way, Abu Hatim said, La yuhtajju bih. We do not consider him to be a, we don't take any evidences from him. لا يحتج به. Nasa'i said he's da'if, full stop. You will find there's another narration by Ala in Bukhari, who is also problematized. You will find in Sahih Muslim the transmission by Muhammad ibn Rumah, who is problematized. Abu Dawood never transmitted from him. Bukhari never transmitted from him. In fact, he transmits a hadith in Kitab al-Hajj, which is in Sahih Muslim. He says, Haddathana Layth. Imam Bukhari says that hadith is false. They've got it wrong. And this most likely is the reason, and mistakes like this, that he never ever took from Muhammad ibn Rumah. Now, you've got, then these narrations are transmitted. You've got another transmitter in them, Israel, who Ali ibn al-Madini said is da'if, unacceptable. They come through, most of them through Ibn Shihab al-Zuhri, him saying Akhbarana, and Abu Nu'aym and other people have told us when they used to say Akhbarana, in most of the cases they were just blagging. They didn't mean, they were misleading. They did not mean Haddathana, that I heard it from him. They meant Akhbarana, that it was like I came across it somewhere. It was in a book or something like this. So, once again, Ibn Shihab Zuhri is from the major mudallisin, as Ibn Hajar and other people have highlighted in the third category, the most serious category of mudallisin. So this hadith, Al-Habbatu Sawda, is not really a Sahih hadith, okay, to start off with. Secondly, I wanted to say that it's very unlikely, just think about this, just think about it. Alright, I want you to think about this. How could it be that the Prophet ﷺ, seriously, whilst he's talking, this hadith says, Fi shifa in Bukhari, min kulli that there is illa sam. Sam is the Jewish word, the Jewish slang, their kind of Hebrew that they spoke for death. Okay, it's not the Arabic word. So so the Prophet is speaking, but then he's just dropping in slang from the Jewish lingo. I mean, does that sound like something? So the Prophet is talking to the normal Muslims, but he's just dropping in like Jewish slang here and there. Like, I mean, does that even make sense? Like, what the hell is that about? Why would the Prophet be doing that? This just goes to show that, look, this, and people will say, yes, but, or somebody had asked, yeah, but Ibn Hajar has accepted it. So, Ibn Hajar has accepted it, and what? So we should blindly follow him because he's accepted it. You see, these people weren't critiquing the hadith in the same way. Ibn Hajar was invested in the hadith project. We know this. He was part of the movement that had kind of shifted. He was part of consolidating the movement, the Copernican shift away from the centrality of hadith, of matan, of its content, to its sanad, to its chain. So you see, in the time of the Salaf, in the time of the Sahaba, Tabi'een, Atba'u Tabi'een, Imam Malik, Imam Abu Hanifa, the focus of hadith was on its content, the content of the hadith, which we call the matan. Then comes this kind of wave of muhaddithin with like the end of the 200s into the 200 Hijri. All these Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi, Abu Dawood, Ibn Abi Shayba, Ahmad, Abdul Razzaq, and all these people, Abu Zur'a al-Razi, Abu Hatim al-Razi. You're going to get all these major critics of hadith and muhaddithin scholars. With them, there's a shift. There's a Copernican shift, a huge shift from the center to the periphery. So now they kind of turn it on its head. So now the main thing is all about the chain. The content of the hadith is now kind of secondary or irrelevant. It's not totally irrelevant, but it's no longer the central piece. The central piece is the chain, the tail. So this continues. During that era for about 100, 150 years, then what happens is people like Ibn Hajar, Al-Asqalani and Ibn Salah and these people, but Ibn Hajar especially, he's part of consolidating that wave, that Copernican shift. And then you've had in the last century or so, maybe 1.5 century, a shift back to what the Salaf were upon, which Imam Malik was upon, and that we are once again centralizing that the hadith itself, the center is the words of the Prophet and not the chain. So, and I definitely agree with that. That is the center, the matan, and not the sanad. So, it's not that I'm Ibn Hajar, I know more than Ibn Hajar, but my perspective is different. You see, Ibn Hajar, he was confined to his biases. Now, one could say, well, yeah, but he knew more hadith than you. That's true. He did know more hadith than me, but he was heavily biased with the hadith project. So he was invested in that. That was his bread and butter. That was his living. He was obviously going to endorse it. To him, he was so invested in Sahih Bukhari, he would do anything to support Sahih Bukhari. His lifelong project was based around Sahih Bukhari. You can't consider him to be a neutral source when it comes to Sahih Bukhari. He's so invested. It's like there's a company and you've got shares in it. You're not neutral. You are invested in Sahih Bukhari. He was invested. He has one of the major commentaries on Sahih Bukhari, Fathul Bari. His whole life's work centers around Sahih Bukhari. So it's no surprise. He goes to the extent to validate the satanic verses. This is Ibn Hajar saying that the satanic verses are fine, that the Prophet, made up certain verses just to appease the non-Muslim kuffar of Quraysh. And then, so this is the extent to which the bias of Ibn Hajar takes him. Now, look, I've got nothing against Ibn Hajar. He's a decent, I'm sure he's a great person, and he was an awesome scholar when it comes to hadith, but he was just as human as you and me. In fact, it was known about him, his womanizing, dare I say. Nutty. Ibn Hajar was known to follow women, to kind of chase after them. He would kind of like follow them right down alleyways, try and talk to them. You got your number? You this. It was known about him. This is nothing new. In fact, in one of the stories, he follows this woman right down, and she then removes her niqab, and he sees her face and freaks out. Ibn Hajar. So it's known about him. And the famous story where he really fancies his wife's slave girl and then does this whole drama to get her to be sold. So he gets somebody to go and buy her and has this kind of lodge on the other side of town, this place set up where he moves her, shifts her over there, and then he goes, meets her and has this wife, and nutty. So, the point is, Ibn Hajar was as human as you and me. He wasn't somebody that fell from the sky. Oh, blessed are the naive. Huh? Don't get me wrong. I actually respect him even more for being human. But you see, I'm not going to worship Ibn Hajar. And by the way, Ibn Hajar, these people who are saying this, he rips the crap out of, he tears to pieces the Hanafi madhab. He hates absolutely the Hanafi madhab. He is one of the most vicious, ruthless people that is anti-Hanafi. He tears them to pieces. His whole thing, because Bukhari was apparently anti-Hanafi with his Qala Ba'dun Nas. And who's invested in Bukhari? Allah. Who else? Oh, Ibn Hajar. Hajar is stone, Peter. Pedro. So Pedro, Ibn Hajar, this is the thing. he couldn't stand the Hanafis. And this was one of his things that was well known about. He bashes the Hanafis so bad in his Fathul Bari. Even I remember in our dars, when we used to go through Sahih Bukhari, the teachers used to say that, Ibn Hajar is the best, although, his ta'assub against the Hanafis is it's inexcusable. And so, so if you really want to, get up close and some brownie points with Ibn Hajar, maybe you should start by dissecting the Hanafi madhab. Right, so this is the thing. Now, once again, I've got no issue with Ibn Hajar being like this. To me, he was just a human being. He was an amazing, very talented human being. But he wasn't God. He wasn't a prophet. He had opinions, and I'm sure, he was very talented, but he was biased when it came to hadith. That's obvious. So, yeah. Right, so I wanted to... so this hadith of Habbat al-Sawda is not sahih. But that said, even if you wanted to take it, just look at the logic, look at the wording. Why would the Prophet speak like that? Why would the Prophet in between just throw a Yiddish kind of like a... not Yiddish, but their Jewish slang? That the Prophet speaking in Jewish slang now. Cha-cha-cha. This is why these people, I'm telling you, the blinkers, they don't see these things. So, yeah. But I mean, anyway, even if there is, I'm not saying there's no benefit in black seed. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's plenty of benefits, just as there is benefit in pepper, benefit in salt, benefit in many things, in some more than others, unquestionably. And it may be that in black seed there is a lot of benefit. I'm not denying that. And that would most likely be why somebody made up this hadith at some point during the Salaf period. Maybe he used to sell black seed. I guarantee you that if you dig deep enough, you're going to find that the guy used to sell black seed. He's like, and why else should we buy it? حدثنا Right, so, but it probably did have a lot of property, like helpful properties to it. I accept that. But it definitely is not a cure for coronavirus. I'm just saying, calm yourselves, people. Last thing you want to do is get coronavirus, have difficulty breathing, bloody chuck some black seeds down there, get them trapped into your throat, and now you choke to death. So it's not going to cure you from death. Okay. Then you've got some other Muslims going around saying, should we be quarantined? And from them, our beloved, saying, no, we should go to Jummah. Right. Oh, sorry, we should wash the dead bodies. And we've got people like Mufti Taqi Saab. MashaAllah. Mufti Taqi Saab. I think is it old age getting to him, or is it? I'm just being honest. What is wrong with these people? I mean, have you heard? I was watching his discussion, Mufti Taqi having a live telephone conversation on some news channel with Allama Ghamidi Saab. And Ghamidi Saab and Mufti Taqi Saab both discussing about should the masjids be shut in Pakistan. And Mufti Taqi saying, no, it's an obligation for the fard to be offered in the masjid. Acha. I am Mufti Taqi. And the hospital bills. Who's going to give that? Is it Darul Uloom Korangi? Where should we build the health service billing to? The charges that are going to get kind of like all ranked up as we as the nation starts to collapse and become crippled. Ayataki. This one not nice, my friend. Darul Uloom Karangi, this one no pay bill. So, I can't believe the nonsense that they say sometimes. I mean, is this really just, is this like to kind of play the hero card, as in I defy authority, like I don't listen to the government? Is that what this is? Or is this, it sure as hell ain't about praying. I can tell you for the love of God, this is nothing to do with actual salah. Right? If these people actually cared about salah, don't you think, right, actual prayers of the Muslims, don't you think there'd be more, have some efforts on unity within Pakistan? Hell no. I mean, they don't have any things like that. I mean, although Mufti Rafi, to be fair, has done some kind of unifying projects, but I'm talking about Mufti Taqi here. Taqi Saab. So, honestly, I just don't get how these people are misleading the awam, the masses, and they should, what the government should do? Should build them. Bande ne puttar bano. It's like, it's like you want to leave the masjids open. This build's going to come out of your Darul Uloom Korangi expense. Then we'll find out. Honestly, it's a good, in Pakistan, they have to take out the penty sometimes, and the danda, and like, but that's because I can't believe in the name of religion what these people do to this deen. They mash it up so bad. I mean, so distorted, unfortunately. Yeah, so some people have started this thing, this la adwa. There is no contagion, any contagious doesn't exist in Islam, any. So this is a commentary on Sahih Bukhari by Ibn Battal, one of the earliest commentaries by a Maliki Andalusi scholar. Now, he says, he quotes Abu Bakr ibn Tayyib, first of all, al-Baqilani al-Maliki, saying that there is no contradiction between those hadiths. And then he goes on to say, right, he goes on to show here, right, the fatwa of Maliki senior students of Imam Malik. So people like Mutarraf ibn al-Majishun, who say about those who are sick, fil marda idha kanu yasiran, says if they are a certain number, a small number, la yakhrujuna an qarya, they do not leave, they become quarantined in the village, wala hadira, nor their settlement, neither the market. Wa in kathuru, so if they become many, so many people, right, so وَإِنْ كَثَرُوا رَأَيْنَا إِنْ يَتَّخِذُوا لِأَنفُسِهِمْ مَوْضِعًا كَمَا he says, so if they become many, then there is a certain allotment that is kind of set out for them to be quarantined in. Right. كَمَا صَنَعَ مَرْضَى مَكَّةَ عِنْدَ التَّنْعِيمِ, right, مَنْزِلُهُمْ وَفِيهِ جَمَاعَتُهُمْ. So as he mentions, there was incidents where this did happen in Mecca, and they were quarantined at Tan'im. Right, so, and then he quotes Asbagh, another major don within the Maliki madhab, from the category just after Imam Malik, although he just missed meeting Imam Malik, but he's a legend of his day and age. He says, Laysa ala marda al-hawadir, so those people who live in settlements and are ill, and yakhruju minha ila nahiyatin biqada'in yahkumu bihi alayhim. So that these people cannot leave. If it's been like, if that's the judgment, they stay where they are. In kafahum al-imam ma'unatahum wa ajra alayhim al-rizq muni'u min mukhalatat nas. He says, provided that the authorities can provide them some food, get it to them, these people are prohibited from mixing with the rest of people. Now, Ibn Habib al-Maliki says as well, wal hukam, he says, بِتَنْحِيَتِهِمْ, by making these people be quarantined, separated, إِذَا كَثَرُوا, if they become so many, أَعْجَبُ إِلَيَّ, is what we like, وَهُوَ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِ النَّاسِ, and this is what people are upon as a fatwa. That was, Ibn Battal transmits that. You see, and he was from Muslim Spain. Right, so around the 4th century, so over 1,000 years ago, Ibn Battal. Now the point is that this contagion. Now some people say that, look, but there's a hadith that Abu Huraira transmits that la adwa, there is no kind of contagion. Now, first of all, there is here, you have, you see, this is a collection of all the popular opinions that Aisha radiallahu anha, the wife of the Prophet, who criticized other companions for mistransmitting the hadith. So, you know, there is this hadith that is transmitted by, let me just bring it up, by Abu Huraira, that he used to say that there is superstition, that there is this kind of that there is superstition and bad luck and bad omen in women, and this is also in certain narrations attached with that narration of contagion, that there is this bad luck, bad omens in women and in properties and in horses or kind of animals. So Aisha radiallahu anha says that وقالت والذي أنزل القرآن على أبي القاسم. She says, I swear by Allah who revealed the Quran upon the Prophet. This is not what he used to say. The Prophet never used to say this. He used to say that Ahlul Jahiliyyah used to say this. Allah, Allah. You see, people, this is the wife of the Prophet. Now, yet my point is that so many people are mistransmitting. You know, we have to be wary. We don't reject, but we have to be wary with the hadith that sometimes come to us through Abu Huraira radiallahu an. The truth is that Abu Huraira radiallahu an, I do believe that transmitting hadith became like a personal investment for him. Like it became something by which he could be known. So it became his project, like this is my thing. I'm going to do this. He only saw the Prophet for about 3 years, the last 3 years of the Prophet's life. He was not somebody that would always be everywhere with the Prophet. He was somebody that he was quite destitute. He was from Daws. They'd moved to Medina. They didn't have a place to stay. The Prophet had this kind of accommodation set up as a sufa, which was for the needy that were kind of like homeless and things like that. And they would have allotted kind of meals and things like this provided for them, and they would stay there. And that was Abu Huraira radiallahu anh, amongst the people that used to stay at the sufa. Now, he was not like the way he wouldn't know the Prophet the way the wives would know the Prophet, the wives of the Prophet. You know, the Prophet lived with them. The Prophet stayed with them, you know, had intimate conversations with them. They knew his character, his personality, the way people like his other friends, Omar, Abu Bakr, these people who were always around him. And you know, they say, oh, but there's a narration by Ibn Umar saying there's no contagion. And Ibn Umar was very young at the time of the Prophet. I mean, he was still a young boy growing up around the Prophet. He was not somebody that was always hanging around with the Prophet. He wasn't. And this is interesting. You say there's no contagion because Ibn Umar transmitted it. Yet, Umar radiallahu an, when the plague broke out, he escaped. And one of the criticisms the companion said, Atafirru min qadrillah, there's an outbreak in this town. Are you running away from the destiny of Allah? And he said, this isn't how we understand this deen. He said, Nafirru min qadarillah ila qadarillah. He said, we run from the destiny to the destiny. From the destiny of God to the destiny of God. Meaning we do our part. I ain't going to sit around with this bloody, all these people they've got this contagious disease. Why did Umar not know what Ibn Umar knew? But his son knew, Yeah, but there is no contagious disease in Islam. Of course, the fact that there's contagion, that these things exist, this is a scientific fact. It's not something which is like needs to be debated by religion. This just makes religion look stupid. So please, people, for the love of God, you know, please, baaz aa jao, yaar, baaz aa jao, you know. Right, so I hope that shed some light on this. Ismail Akram, much love. Right, salam, big fan, raised old school culture, taught that trimming the beard openly was sinning. Anywhere I can contact you, Ismail, do reach out to me on Instagram. I'll look out for you. Just if your name's different, just say it in the message, just say it's me, Ismail Akram. I'll look out for you. But yeah, trimming the beard is not haram. Right, trimming the beard is not haram. In fact, keeping a beard, you know, is it really a sunnah? I wouldn't say it really is a religious sunnah at all. But some people believe that, fine. I accept that people believe it. Generally, it was the custom of the Arabs. And they saw this as, like this was what things that people did, that men did, generally. Like they grew a beard. And it was part and parcel of the culture. And the Prophet did have a beard, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we do keep beards. Generally speaking, Muslims do. And this, according to the Maliki thing and the Shafi'i thing, is a beard, by the way. So the beard is just what grows on the chin. It's not actually what grows here, etc., according to, by its definition. And according to many scholars in different madhabs, the Shafi'is and Kharashi from the Maliki and other people as well. So, yeah. Rorona, you're doing it. Orale, handsome hound. Mufti, can I answer yes or no to my super chat question? Right, yes, about marrying a Christian girlfriend. Hey, you naughty. Yeah, the world is collapsing under Corona. Corona हो रहा है, Corona. And तुम्हें आवाज आ रही है Corona. आओ Corona. Nikah Corona. So, but the answer is yes, you can marry a Christian. ठीक है, चलता है यार. We're not going to prevent you from this happiness. He's like, if I can't marry her, there's nothing left in this world. Hi. Oof. What's that? मैं हूँ, दिल है, तन्हाई है, तुम भी होते अच्छा होता. So this is our brother is very knows it should be social distancing, you know, social 2 meters. This is bringing some new difficulties to some equations. So, yeah, but yes. Marry her, man. He's saying there's no point in life. He's saying if there's no wife or no love, then there's no life. Huh? Why? Allah. और भी दुख हैं ज़माने में मोहब्बत के सिवा, राहतें और भी हैं वसल की राहत के सिवा. हाय मुझसे पहली सी मोहब्बत मेरे महबूब ना मांग. This is the thing, huh? What is it? मैंने सोचा था कि तू मिल जाए तो दरख्शां है हयात, तेरा गम है तो गमे दहर का झगड़ा क्या है, तेरी सूरत से है आलम में बहारों को सबात, तेरी आंखों के सिवा दुनिया में रखा क्या है. वाह. This is somebody said, can you answer my super razor? I didn't see your question. Let me see if I can quickly zoom back and see anything. Razor, cool, you're doing it. Razor, you're doing it. Right, PHP SP. I don't know what the question is, but thoughts on Bin Baz and Uthaymeen. Which book is that, Mufti? Somebody else has asked. Reza, what's your question if you post it? But much love, shukran. Dearly appreciate it, the support. This book is called Al-Ijaba. Al-Ijaba, yeah. Al-Ijaba. لإراد ما استدركته عائشة على الصحابة. So, on those matters in which Aisha, radiallahu anha, critiqued the companions. What's the actual ruling of a fist-length beard? I would say it's cultural, like it's something that, yeah, the Arabs generally kept big beards. But, you see, it's like saying that in a particular culture, like let's say there's certain cultures in which having a mustache is seen as like manly. And if a person shaves it, it's seen weird. So, in that culture, people will all do it, mainly. So, in the Prophet's culture, the Arabs generally kept a beard, and they did that, and the Prophet did that. He was no exception, but he didn't introduce the beard. It was something that everybody kept, the kuffar kept, everybody kept. Reza, thanks. Mufti, been following you since 2016. Geo, meri jaan, Geo. Right, so, right, what's been going down, people? What's been going down? Is the Prophet Moses black? Alayhi salam. No, I don't think the Prophet Moses alayhi salam was black. It depends what you mean by black, by the way. Do you just mean dark-skinned? Or do you mean black as in of African heritage, as in sub-Saharan African kind of genetic heritage? Was he like that? So, no, I mean, he would have been from the Israelites, who were the Jewish people. So, he wouldn't have been from sub-Saharan ancestry or genetics. He wasn't from that kind of... He would have been from the general Jewish haplogroup. So, but I mean, what his skin tone was like, it may have been dark. I don't know. It may have been. That's like saying, I'm just saying you get... Because where people... I know you get like white people, and then you get... Obviously, you're going to get black people, white people, black people, sub-Saharan, very clear. And in the middle, you've got a whole continuum, isn't it, of shades, of like a shade of brown, from very golden tan, Mediterranean, to very dark. And complexion gets darker. And sometimes people, within certain regions, within certain families, you can get some people much darker than their own siblings and stuff like this. So, dark-skinned, I don't know. Maybe he was dark-skinned. I don't know whether he was dark-skinned. But I think that's a very superficial discussion, skin deep. It doesn't really prove anything. I mean, I don't know what the significance is, but he may have been dark-skinned. I don't know. But if you mean he was of a kind of sub-Saharan genetic ancestry, so his ancestors would have, the haplogroup, the DNA within him, would have been from sub-Saharan Africa, then no, it would have been from the Israelites. Somebody said you still haven't answered my question, but one of the 12 tribes of the Jews was black. All right. I don't think the 12 tribes could be... Technically, it depends what... See, once again, you're mixing up what black means. I don't know what you mean by black. Do you mean by sub-Saharan? By definition, they couldn't be, unless later on they... Because if you're saying they're the children of Jacob, Jacob wouldn't have been from sub-Saharan Africa. Like most of the prophets, biblical prophets, were from like the Middle East. So their haplogroups, genetic haplogroups, would have represented the Middle Eastern haplogroups. It's not... this is just basic science. It's not like I'm not trying to, you can't really go around that. You can't beat that. You can't say, no, they were from China. They had Chinese haplogroups. No, they didn't. They had like Middle Eastern haplogroups. There were people in other parts of the world that had other haplogroups, but Jacob wouldn't have been from there. He would have been from, originally from like the Middle East and that region. So he would have had that haplogroup. It's not, this isn't something, it's not to kind of detract from people's arguments, but this is a scientific response. It's not something I'm kind of just making up. So people say that some of the Israelites may have gone off into Eastern Africa, where you've got Ethiopia and Eritrea, and you have certain modern black Jews who trace their ancestry. So it may have been that some people from the Israelites went there, and then they kind of settled and intermarried, and then their children all grew up there. That may have happened. But if we're talking about ancestry of haplogroups, it does go back in that sense to the Middle East. Right. Omar Suleiman mentions Musa as being black and brings hadith to show it. Omar Suleiman, honestly, isn't. Omar Suleiman, look, he's done some very good social work and stuff like that. But as far as being a scholar of Islam, I mean, I don't know if he's a scholar of Islam in that sense. I don't think he is. I mean, he's probably done some studies and he understands a certain amount of Islam. Definitely, he's not like ignorant to Islam. I'm not saying he's ignorant. So this isn't a all or nothing scenario. But there's, like, let's say you've got a doctor and who's a medical grade doctor, and you've got somebody who's also studied A-level biology and A-level chemistry and A-level kind of. It's not that they're a jahil. They don't know anything about these kind of, or imagine they've studied some kind of pharmaceutical stuff, or they've worked out, assisted other doctors, and they've picked stuff up. So they're not stupid. They're not like, they're very intelligent. Omar Suleiman is intelligent as well, but as him being a scholar of Islam, having specialized in Quran, Sunnah, Hadith, Fiqh, these things, I don't think he would even claim that. I don't think he would even claim that he specialized in any of these things if you ask him outright, because it doesn't seem like he has. It doesn't seem like, I don't know, but this is not to detract from, I'm not trying to say take a dig, but I'm just being honest. At the end of the day, the problem is people are so stuck up on their own kind of, like, they want to claim a maqam that isn't theirs, and that's what causes the problems, because then you go out saying stuff. That said, look, I get why Omar Suleiman may have done that, because he was part of the Black Lives Matter, and so maybe he thought mentioning Moses was black is kind of helping black people. Maybe, look, if it offers solace, I'm not against, I'm just speaking factually. I'm just going by the facts. Like science, I'm just speaking factually that these people weren't they originally from Abraham, who was from Canaan? I mean, isn't this what so we know what those people were. We can trace haplogroups. We know how science. This isn't something. I mean, this is basics. But skin tone, I don't know. Like, somebody could be from anywhere and very dark skinned. So see, this is why I don't understand what you mean by is somebody black. Like, what do you mean? When we say today culturally, we mean of a kind of origin that goes to sub-Saharan Africa. This is how people commonly use it, as in origin. So they may be American or European or British black people, but we're saying that their origin ancestrally went back to that. So that's that. So I mean, I wouldn't have thought Musa alayhi salam, generally, if looking at the evidence, but I don't know why this is a big deal. Why is this a big deal? Like, I don't see. Do I believe that there would have been prophets to all people? Yes, I do. Do I believe there would have been prophets among sub-Saharan people? Yes, I do. Do I believe there would have been prophets in China? Yes, I do. In Latin America? Yes, I do. So, I mean, but I don't feel that. I think we have to be careful where people whitewash history, but we have to be careful where we don't kind of like twist history as well, just to kind of help people. I understand it would help maybe symbolically, but I don't know if that is the right thing to do. I just think sometimes just being accurate, but being understanding and generally sympathetic and helpful. I don't know, that's my. Right, there was a Imam Malik's opinion for punishment for apostasy. I have got a whole detailed video on apostasy. I've got that whole thing. I do explain in there that, look, how they looked at it in the past and today. So do watch that, please. that's my thought. Blackwash history. Yeah, but I'm not. Look, I'm not trying to in any way detract from the struggle that the black people are going through, especially in places like America. I do 100% support the cause. I feel that they are highly discriminated against, and it is difficult. It's a struggle. It's a struggle for many people, but it's definitely a struggle for black people in America, especially. I don't know about. I don't know if it really is in the UK, but America, from I would think, is ruthless. So, and it's a shame that Muslims haven't really partaken in that, standing shoulder to shoulder in the Black Lives Matter movement. And I do stand shoulder to shoulder. I do support it, the Black Lives Matter. So these things, I'm just being, I think it's very important to be clear. Okay. Do you believe race differences in IQ? Inaya's going to make me out some kind of Nazi here. Do I believe in race differences in IQ? I had this conversation with a good friend, Momo, and we were chatting about this. Now, I don't believe in, first of all, race is a social construct. Okay, so you have haplogroups and ethnicities, and then you have race, which is a social construct. It's not actually, race doesn't actually exist like that, even though it can have a legal thing to it. But right, so I do feel that genetics can influence intelligence. I do feel that. I think that holds truth, just like genetics can influence anything. But that genetics is not restricted to a particular ethnicity. It doesn't mean like all the Chinese people, all these kind of people will end up becoming, always be geniuses, and all these people will always be thick, and all these people will always be, like this. It doesn't work like that. But I do think there is a kind of hereditary nature to intelligence. So, because if you think about it, look, it's to do with your brain, the way it's developed relies on your genome structure. So, like things like your height, your strength, a lot of your phenotype is impacted by the environment as well, but it's also impacted heavily by the genotype. Okay, so what you get. So if you are, let's say, of a particular, like, I don't know, like you train in something, you do something, you physically very fit, and then you go on to have children, there's a great likelihood that they will then inherit certain, their genome structure will be influenced by that, by your kind of what you have, what you are passing on to them, what your parents passed on to you. Emotional intelligence is something as well that they say is inherited, but these things can be tweaked as well. It doesn't, like, you could be born like through your hereditary, you could be really skinny, but then you start going to the gym and start building muscle and doing things, so you can impact things as well. But I do feel the way height and all these things are hereditary often, so is intelligence, because brain structure would also be a physical structure. I mean, it's not. But that doesn't mean that one whole race would get it like that. It doesn't mean like that. So there would be geniuses in black people, as there would be geniuses in Chinese people, as there would be geniuses in white people, in brown people, and there would be equally dumb people in these kind of, that just ain't gifted intellectually in all these races as well. And so it's not, but it's not a race thing. I do believe it is hereditary to some extent, but it's universal. It doesn't discriminate. Like, whoever has worked on developing and harnessing certain features, I do feel that they can somehow pass on certain things. So the thing is, like so, for example, there was a study with the maize bright rice, maize bright mice and the maize dull mice. So they got a bunch of mice and they trained them to go through this maze. And then they had another group, the control group, which they were not trained. So you had these two groups, so they called them the maze bright, because these could get through this maze really quickly, and these couldn't. Like when they went in the maze, they panicked, they went here, there, didn't know, took forever, took double the time that those mice would take. Now, right, so what they then did was they had these mice breed, and then they tested without training the offspring against a control group that were not trained. So maze dull, let's say, but new group. Now, they found up to 9 generations later that up to 9 set of offsprings that the maze bright mice offspring could still outperform their counterparts in getting through the maze. And that's amazing. That's science. And the question was, how could they do it? Because they weren't passing on memories, but they felt that they were passing on the ability to cope with stress at a mental level. That these things get passed down. Just as there's talk about mental trauma getting passed down. So a lot of black people, for example, in America, there's talk about them suffering from a kind of historic trauma being passed down in almost like the collective consciousness, but in a genetic sense. So in a similar way, the ability to cope with things is a brain mechanism, and it's passed down. So yeah, so anyway, there is scientific studies to kind of back that up, but we'll talk about all of that. Whoa, is that the time, people? You know what? I think we need to move on to speaking about beloveds. So, people, we're going to be kind of cast aside. We're going to have to vicariously fly many thousands of miles east for many of us. This, people, what you're seeing in front of you is a map of the beautiful Qadian. Okay, this is in Punjab. Oh, Sadda Punjab, oi. Oh, balle balle. Right, so this is, there it is. That's on the left-hand side. You can see Qadian. It's a bit zoomed out on the right-hand side. It falls on modern-day India side. It's in Amritsar, close to Amritsar, and as you can see. But anyway, what has happened? Let me bring to your attention, people. So this brings us to a bit of the masala segment. So there's these Qadianis here who have made another video against me. Now, in the video, they're playing a clip of me saying that I've not misquoted, but I'm wrong. I'm being asked a question in one of my Monday nights about Abul Kalam Azad. What did he have to say about Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani? Didn't he say some very nice things about him? So in it, I say that he may have said this, but I say, look, at the end of the day, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani may have been a nice guy. He may have been a very decent human being. So people may have said nice things. I expect them to. People who know him and who like him may say very nice things about him. So this person this is the same guy. I haven't brought his clip here, but he is the one who talked. And so we're going to talk about Mufti Abu Right, so it's the same guy with the persistent blocked nose, right? So, akal ke saath saath, along with the intellect, the nose is also blocked, right? So, he says, well, look, Abul Kalam Azad from India is praising, this guy, Mufti Abu Layth, is a deviant. Look at his Islam. Tattoos are halal. This is halal. Wearing earrings is halal. I'm sorry, I don't get the logic. Like, you guys are prepared to believe that the Prophet never really achieved anything, but you're not, and you don't find that absurd, but you find me saying, oh, tattoos are not haram so absurd. But anyway, what happened is, now that he made this video, whoever made this video, I started to get a lot of people started to, but it's coming from Ontario, Canada, and I thought, okay. And then they call again and again, and I thought, you know what, maybe, because I'm a proper shopaholic sometimes, and I've ordered loads of things, and I forget sometimes. I order things and I forget about them until they arrive. So I thought maybe there's, like a shipping thing going on, a query, so they're trying to get in touch. Why would somebody call me so, like, several times from Canada otherwise? So I answer it, and it's some guy saying, Assalamu alaikum. Hello? All right. So now I get this call, and this person said there's no voice. Somebody said there's no voice. Is there no voice? Hello? This is picking up voice. Testing. It is picking up voice over here. Let me check the voice works. We can hear you. Okay, excellent. So if you can't hear me, give me a shout. So this person calls me and we have a chat, and I said to him that, look, I made it clear to this person. I said, look, I'm getting fed up with all these kind of videos. People are sending me the same video, and I'm saying it nicely as well. I'm saying, yaar, nicely. Bande ne puttar bani jao, bande ne puttar. Like, baaz aa jao yaar. This kind of bullying and trolling, it doesn't suit you yaar. Tum log seedhe saade nerds. You sitting in a library somewhere, aram se, like, yeah, right. So, this doesn't suit you. Just chill out, relax. And so this guy, anyway, he's chatting. He's going, I said to him, look, can I ask you then a question? Do you believe in Qadiani to be a prophet? He goes, I don't like the word Qadiani. Qadiani is derogatory. I said, why? Isn't this where your prophet is from? I'm having a few people repeatedly saying the sound is off. Is it? I hope it isn't. Let me bring up the Facebook people as well. So just to make sure that Facebook can... They can... Alright, let me just check. People, just give me a shout if the sound is fine. They're saying it's fine. Cool. Alright, awesome. So let me also, whilst I'm talking, I'm going to bring up people who we're talking about. Right, we're talking about... Oh, yaar, ye galti se aa gaya, yaar. I don't mean to bring up the toilet, yaar. You naughty, you teasing me. Right, so I'm meant to be bringing up our Qatilana nazar, yaar. Itna sundar chehra. Hi. Nazare, hi. Thu. Nazare baddur. So this one is our, when you look at Qadiani Saab, and you think to yourself that, wow, what a prophet that God chose. I honestly want to ask, right, that is this... Seriously, why are his eyes like that? Ye khuliye ke band hain, yaar. Is his eyes closed or are they open? Honestly, yaar, I'm really bothered about... This is a serious question. Right. You guys, you see, the other thing is you guys ain't taking me seriously, but just look at those eyes. Are they closed? Are they open?
छब्बीस मई 1908 को लाहौर में मौसूफ का शिद्दत के साथ यह हैजा से ही मर गया। बाद वफात उसके मुंह से
उनका होता है
जो हासिलीन के व्रत का बायस हुआ।
ये हो क्या रहा है यार? What the hell is that? On the toilet? Oh, this is all not nice, yeah. So, as it happens, this person called me and he had a chat with me and he said, well, look, I really believe in... I asked him, do you really believe genuinely? I want to ask you, genuinely believe? I've got no problem. Look, I said, I'm not against... Like, you're mixing me up. You guys are... you're picking on me. Yeah. So I'm telling you, look, okay, let me ask you some questions then. Do you really believe in Ghulam Mirza being the prophet of God? So this guy said 150%. I said, Chava, yaar, yaqeen. Yeah. Who wouldn't have that level of yaqeen after they've seen such a beautiful face? So I said, no, I never said that to him. I said, okay. I said, I want to ask you that. I said, seriously, have you studied Islam as well? Have you studied a bit of this as well, Islam and stuff? Or, have you not studied? Or he said, no, I've studied. I said, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, it's getting more and more interesting here. I said, Qadiani Sahab, I said, have you studied Quran was Sunnah, or have you studied, just researched independently? He said, no. He said, I haven't. I said, have you studied Arabic? He said, look, I haven't studied Arabic, but I've done research, and I'm, koi jahil banda nahi hu. I'm not like a jahil person. Hum bhi apne, right? Those of you that don't know the Savior's yaar wo kaha hai hamare Hazrat, right? I've got there's here he is. There's another I honestly thought that was a ruler the first time I saw it. Wallah. I thought, ye kaun sa intelligence naap rahe hain? What kind of intelligence is he measuring from? So I said, look, let me be real, yeah? I'm trying to be real here. That if you've studied, which you're saying you have studied, you've researched, can you tell me what is the reason that God sent? There must have been a reason that God sent another prophet. Would you not agree? And I was using the word prophet, like you believe this is your prophet, yeah? God sent a prophet. There must be a reason, yeah? So he said, yeah, of course there's a reason. I said, okay. I said, what's the reason? I'm interested. He said, well, look how many Ahmadis there are in the world today. I said, acha. Team banane ka. Acha. Team banani thi. God's reason was, I want to make a little team. I said, then he could have sent a football team. Or he could have sent anybody, if he just wanted fans. Was there no message? Was there a message as well? Or was there kuch aur bhi, ya just wanted a gang? God was like, yaar, ye gangs mein kuch kami pad rahi hai, yaar. Koi naya leader bhejte hain. It's like so. So I was like, there must have been a reason. So he goes, yeah, there is. I said, well, please do tell. So he said, well, I said, well, because am I wrong that Mirza Qadiani Sahab, born and died during the British colonial rule, one of the darkest eras for general and especially Muslim civilizations? He goes, yeah. I go, well, he never brought that to an end. And you can't say he liberated the world. You can't even say he liberated a part of Qadian. Did Qadian become a liberated nation? We know that it didn't. I mean, till decades after his death. So what is the purpose of God sending him? Like, what did God achieve? I mean, come on, this is the last shot. God is sending the final. I said, look, if you're going to say that, look, God sent Jesus to redeem mankind's sins, die on the cross and redeem their sins. Chalo, theek hai, whether we accept it or not, but theek hai, you're saying God had an objective in your beliefs as a Christian. People say God sent Moses with this, that he wanted to save the Israelites from the pharaonic kingdom and take them back to the promised land. Theek hai, that's an objective. God sent David to rule and establish the kingdom of God. Theek hai. God sent the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to kind of rid mankind of superstition, to teach them, to bridge between the personal and impersonal God and counter the narrative of shirk. Theek hai, okay. Why did God send Mirza Qadiani Sahab in Punjab? Okay, oh, balle balle. So, and so he said, can I call a friend on my... I said, yeah. I was like, call a friend? Call a friend? Are you having a laugh? Think this is some kind of a chat show? Call a friend. I'm asking you a simple question. Is there a message to this? You guys are trolling me, calling me now. And I'm asking a simple baby question. What's the message? Can I call a friend? Bande na puttar ban, can I call a friend? It's like, lucky, in front of me, trolling me like this. Do you guys have any idea how much out of your depth you are? I'm like, and then I even offered, I said, look, I'm offering to let you can call whoever this person is, not now, but I've got a show, Mindtrap. At some point, right now, I've got a few people lined up, but for a few weeks. But after that, I'll have one of them as a guest. He goes, okay, we'll set that up. Now they go on to WhatsApp, and this other person comes on. It's like, I think it's that. So, and this guy starts. You think you can insult our prophet and get away with it? I was like, Abeo Piddi. Look, I said, I'm asking you nicely. Tell your little minions to stop flooding my inbox with this video. Theek hai? Bahut dhanyawad. Right, leave it at that. I'm asking you nicely, I said. This guy goes, you think you can cuss, insult our prophet and get away with it? I was like, Puttar, I haven't even begun. Abjo. The colectomy. Now we're going to surgically remove a piece of the colon. Ab pata chalega. So this is I have got a video before about the beloved. This beloved Ghulam Mirza Qadian he's also known as this is him in another form. Blaming good for looking fella, Hariram Kumar, serial kisser. This, I'm not just this is seriously I've shown this before. This one, there it is. Yaar, sorry, ghalti ho gayi yaar, ghalti ho gayi. Insan khata mumkin. I was meant to put this picture. Hari Ram Kumar, serial kisser. Oh, blaming good looking fella. Oh, irresistible, you. So from the message of our stud, Mirza Stud Sahab, Hari Ramji, was that God, he was also a very, speaking of studs, he was a very loving soul. Very not just loving soul, loving body. He was into his. He did like the occasional. So one of the people he kind of had a little eye for was his cousin, Muhammadi Begum. Naughty. So he's like, love you. So she wasn't having it, Muhammadi Begum. So he said to her father, or her wali, you better marry her off for me. Marry her off to me, sorry. So that guy said, look, I ain't interested. He goes, oh, it has come to me in revelation. Yaar, wahi aa gayi hai, wahi aa rahi hai. So revelation is coming to me. Revelation dictates that if you don't marry Muhammadi Begum to me, then within whoever you marry her to, within 1 to 2 years, her husband will die and she will suffer a miserable fate. So that guy was like, oh, sorry, are you still talking? Needless to say, he obviously didn't take heed. He didn't marry her to Qadiani Saab. And nope, it looks like the angel that told that to Qadiani Saab got that wrong. Husband didn't die, lived on, they had children, lived a normal, happy life. चलो यार, miscalculation हो जाता है. यार, don't be harsh now. This one not nice. Love का मामला है. Law. So what happens is an angel came to him, to Qadiani Saab. An angel. I'm not to Hari Ram. Why am I saying Hari Ram? Because in his final years, he also said he had the vision that he was another incarnation of Ram and Vishnu. He was himself. So Hari Ram, serial kisser, lover, Mr. Lover Man. So he had another experience where the angel came to him. The angel came to him and said, I'm delivering a message from God. So, said, delivering a message from God? What is the message, O angel? The message is God said, I love you. What? Even the angel, when delivering it, God, is it one over there? Is it that guy? Is it sure it's अब पंजाबी में oh ले किदा सरदार. So from here, but if it's God's message, it's God's message, people. You can't
अंग्रेजी में कहते हैं कि I love you, गुजराती माँ बोले तने प्रेम करूँ छू, बंगाली में कहते हैं आमी তোমাকে ভালোবাসি, पंजाबी में कहते हैं तेरी तेरे बिन मर जाना, मैं तैनू प्यार करना.
Oh, Punjabi, wah. So this was needless to say, Bichara Saab, we can't, not quite like this, but the way you got that man on the toilet, a bit like that, but it's a sad, it's not, it's a serious matter, yaar. This cholera and having this, Bichara's fate was on the toilet. I suppose, it's not quite, when you say kick in the bucket, it's it's a bad thing, yaar. But it was his fate, obviously, of the beloved Messiah of God, Shri Hari Ram, serial kisser Qadiani Saab. So this was my heartfelt kind of tribute today in the Masala segment to our stud. You stud. Oof, those looks. Oof, if looks could kill. then this would outdo COVID. Ayo, COVID. You know, if COVID was a person, you corona. All right, people, you know what? I think we've really got, that's enough. But I just, seriously, that was a genuine question, by the way. I couldn't get over the question about his... Aankhein khuli hain ke band hain, yaar? Can somebody tell me? Is it... Phir bhi. We only see... his eyes open or closed.
26 मई 1908 को लाहौर में मौसूफ का शिद्दत के साथ यह हैजा से ही मर गया। बाद वफात उसके मुंह से बहाने निकलते देखा गया, जो हाज़रीन की इबरत का बाइस
हुआ। All right, people, that's enough. People, let's call it a wrap. You know what? It's been awesome. You guys have been awesome. We've gone on for way too long. It's quarantine. It's lockdown, people. It's lockdown. So we need to wrap this up, man. You know what? Take very good care of yourselves, people. Right. Remember to subscribe. Subscribe, yaar, to my channels. Click the notifications. Click the like. And yeah, if you have any decent questions, watch my Mindtrap. I may be doing it tomorrow. So other than that, take very good care of yourselves. Listen to, maybe if my tips helped you during the lockdown, do that. Mufti, my husband wants me to peg him. Damn, we should have taken that before. Yeah. So, guys, much love. Take very good care of yourselves. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay awesome, people. Right.